Hey, what?
I'm in a mood where I'm like, whatever. But yeah, anyway, Christopher Newgent. How many people know Dave Bazan? Have you seen him? He does the Q&A thing at his shows.
Yeah.
I've been kind of playing around with that, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. It can be cool or douchey or whatever you decide.
Probably douchey.
I'm going to start with, I have a new book out with my buddy Tyler Gobble and our friend Brian Oliu. It's just like a collection of chapbooks together. I'm going to read a few from those. I brought some tonight if you care to grab them, but Matt Hart over here is on the road, so buy his stuff first. I just have to drive to Broad Ripple. I don't know where you're driving next.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, so that involves much more gas money. So anyway, I'll read a few stories from the collection first, because they're kind of sad. I'm sorry for that. And then I'll read some poems that aren't so sad. Alright, so this first one's The Last Time. I came home drunk and we lit ourselves on fire. We were such flammable creatures then. The neighbors must have heard us, burning up all the oxygen in our little apartment, suffocating ourselves with big, loud words. The cops encouraged you to stay the night with a friend. It was all they could do with no burn marks to show. When I came home from work the next day, the apartment seemed larger without your things. I couldn't get the smell of smoke out of the walls, the sheets, my clothes, my skin. I broke the lease shortly after, threw everything out and moved here to Chicago. I haven't touched a drink in 2 years, too afraid to touch a bottle to my lips, whether water or whiskey. I live mostly off soups, watery vegetables and fruit, lettuce, tomatoes, melons. My skin feels constant of drought, especially winters here, when I scratch at my elbows and they flake into ash. And then this is another one, sort of the same character. I actually chose that one because I always imagined that couple lived in Fountain Square. So this is when the guy, I think, moves to Chicago. Pregnant on the L. When you got on at Pulaski, I stood and offered you my seat. I didn't even hesitate. You looked tired, slack-shouldered and cradling your belly. I'm always amazed how you as a woman can build bones inside your body. I worry about your bones. You have such small wrists. I read once how some women crave gravel, how some deep part of their bodies knows of the stone's iron and calcium. A woman who kept a limestone pebble in her mouth the last 4 months of pregnancy. In a dream last night, I saw you in your driveway on hands and knees, shoveling scoop by scoop into your mouth. I wanted to go to you, offer you a glass of milk, but you had swallowed up all the earth between us. In the canyon below, a museum of fossils, and you gnawing and gnawing. And then this last one out of the short stories, the book is actually the title story of the entire book, and it's sad. Anybody have any questions? Free to stop, ask. All right, this one's called The Fullness of Everything. He takes pen and paper from his pocket, writes, "Talk to me," and slides it across the table to the woman who is not his wife. She folds her hands across her flat stomach, takes in the fullness of everything, her untouched mug of coffee, his deep-bellied soup bowl, through the windows, the moon, bearded with clouds. Outside, the snow grows on the ground a thick, clean moss. She writes, "I feel like I have no reflection." In the window, he sees her face younger than his. With his finger, he smudges her impression in the fog gathered on the glass. Beads roll from his fingertip down the window. She thinks of the trickle of blood, and then the gush. A taste like sour almonds rises in her throat and she swallows. Feels the swallow down into the bottom of her belly, where her insides were settling into the new space of what was no longer inside her. She takes up the pen again. "Can we get out of here?" He helps her with her coat, takes their dishes and mugs to the counter. He opens the door for her. He reaches for her arm, but she has tucked them inside herself. Outside, the streets are empty of anyone. He opens his mouth to comment but says nothing. Heavy, wet flakes fall straight down through the street lamp's orange glow. The pattering of snow piling on more snow, the small feet of little prayers. So that's enough of the sad stuff.